Greetings from South Korea. I am Arirang News AI anchor. Here is the news-making headlines today. The U.S. Supreme Court began hearings on Wednesday to decide whether President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs on South Korea and other nations were legally justified. The Supreme Court, which currently holds a conservative majority, heard arguments from attorneys representing small businesses in 12 Democratic-leaning states that filed the lawsuit, as well as from government lawyers defending Trump's policy. At the center of the case is whether Trump exceeded his presidential authority when he used tariffs as a central tool of his economic and foreign policy. Lower courts, including the U.S. Court of International Trade and the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, had already ruled that Trump's global tariffs imposed using emergency powers were unlawful. South Korea's ruling and opposition parties faced off in a comprehensive policy inquiry on Thursday over the government's record 728 trillion won budget for 2026. Prime Minister Kim Min-seok and Finance Minister Koo Yoon-chul defended the proposal, emphasizing the need for proactive fiscal measures. While the ruling Democratic Party argued the plan strengthens growth engines and supports households, the opposition People Power Party warned that expanded spending threatens fiscal soundness and criticized elements of the U.S. tariff agreement. The policy inquiry continues Friday, with deliberations for each government ministry set to begin next week. President Lee Jae-myung called for an early response once forest fires break out and urged fire officials to thoroughly respond to put out the fire at the earliest stage possible. The president visited the eastern coastal areas of Gangwon-do Province today to inspect regions with a high risk of wildfires. Ahead of the dry winter season, he called for fire prevention measures and promised full government support. He also observed a joint fire extinguishing training exercise by the forest agency and the military, using helicopters and drones, and spoke with the firefighters involved. The number of multicultural marriages in Korea reached its highest level last year since the COVID-19 pandemic, while also marking the first increase in the number of multicultural births in 12 years. The Ministry of Data and Statistics said Thursday the number of such births last year was 13,416, a 10.4% increase from the previous year. The multicultural births accounted for 5.6% of all births recorded, up 0.3 percentage points year-on-year. The ministry said the surge in the number of multicultural births was largely due to the rising trend in multicultural marriages, which had been subdued during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Environment Ministry has announced two possible targets for South Korea's new national greenhouse gas reduction goal for 2035. During a public hearing at the National Assembly on Thursday, the Environment Ministry and related agencies revealed two ranges. It proposed cutting emissions by either 50 to 60% or 53 to 60% compared to 2018 levels, a significant change from the current target of a 40% reduction by 2030. The final decision on which target to use will be made by the Presidential Commission on Carbon Neutrality and Green Growth and the Cabinet next week and then be submitted to the United Nations the following week. Under the Paris Agreement, signatory nations are required to establish and submit updated targets every 5 years. That is all from me today. Thank you for watching.